Women-owned businesses struggle to access public procurement in East Africa. A new study has revealed that women-owned businesses in East Africa receive less than 1% of the public procurement funds each year, despite the governments in East Africa spending over 60% of their national budgets through public procurement.
In getting women into and keeping them in high-paying sectors.
According to the study, the unfair distribution of the funds has further widened the gender inequality gap, making it difficult for women to advance themselves. The study, conducted by the Africa Freedom of Information Center, Economic and Social Research Foundation, and Strathmore University, highlighted major barriers preventing women entrepreneurs from securing government contracts. The study revealed that the major challenges to women's participation in public procurement include legal documentation, policies, financial capacity, operational and socio-cultural barriers.
Our research sought to investigate the barriers and suggest solutions to women's participation in public procurement in East Africa, that is in Kenya, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania. We found that some of the policies were constraining and making it difficult for women to participate in public procurement. They were requiring for many and difficult requirements for a business to be able to participate in government procurement.
The study was carried out in Kenya, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania to investigate the barriers and suggest solutions to women participation in public procurement in the region. The study found that lack of policy implementation, compliance with the existing laws in respect to the payment remain a major challenge in a number of countries.
In Kenya and Tanzania, we found, on a positive side, that governments had reserved contracts for women and other special groups. In Kenya, it is called AGPO. However, we found some challenges with implementation, lack of awareness and access to information. There was a challenge of corruption, people being asked to pay in order to get government contracts or in order to get paid. Lack of policy implementation, lack of compliance with existing laws in respect to payments was a major problem. And then again, of course, lack of awareness on these important policies.
Mr. Sendugwa noted that while some governments, such as Kenya and Tanzania, have introduced reserved contracts for women and other special groups, implementation is still low.
We also found that women were by and large doing businesses informally. Businesses not registered, businesses not registered in the government supplier databases, not registration for taxes, and all sorts of things which would make it difficult for them to undertake government businesses. And yet, across East Africa, we found that between 38% and 48.2% of the businesses registered in each of these countries were actually registered by women.
He argued that a number of women are unaware of these opportunities, and even when they do, corruption, lack of access to information, and difficulties in compliance with procurement requirements prevent them from participating. The study found that women entrepreneurs operate informally, with many businesses unregistered in government supply database or lacking proper tax documentation.
On the demand side, we found women were not aware about this opportunity and what the law commanded them to have. So that was a big challenge.
According to Sendugwa, in some cases, women were denied contracts simply based on gender. Additionally, cases of sexual exploitation where women were expected to offer sexual favors in exchange for contracts were also reported. The research has, however, revealed a significant policy change in the region over the years under the procurement laws. In Uganda, Rwanda and Ethiopia, public procurement laws have been amended to create reservation schemes for women. Uganda now mandates that 50% of every government agency procurement budget be set aside for women, youth and persons living with disabilities. Additionally, contracts below 30 million shillings in central government and 10 million shillings in district local governments are also awarded to the groups.
In Uganda, the law now requires that 15% of the procurement budget of every government agency should be reserved for women, youth, and persons with disabilities. It also says that for central government contracts below 30 million should be reserved for these groups, and in the case of district local governments, contracts below 10 million shillings should be for these groups.
Rwanda's new law requires that at least 1/3 of the tender committee members be women, giving them a greater influence over the procurement decisions. In Ethiopia, women are now officially recognized among special groups eligible for priority in public tenders.
In Rwanda, the law now requires that at least 1/3 of the tender committees should be comprised of women, meaning that women now are in charge of making decisions on who takes what contract.
The East African Procurement Forum has also adopted a resolution to promote the participation of women, youth and persons with disability across the region, extending the initiative beyond the original study countries to include the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan.
One of the other important results of our research was that the East African Procurement Forum adopted a resolution to promote the participation of women, youth, and people with disabilities in East Africa in procurement, public procurement. So now it is going to be an issue for the region to include countries like DRC, South Sudan, and other countries where the study was not carried out. Secondly, it also passed another resolution which was saying that the East African community market should be considered as a local market. And that's very important, that a woman who has a business in Kenya can do government procurement business in Uganda or any other country.
Meanwhile, a study by the Economic and Social Research Foundation found that awareness of procurement opportunities among women remains low in Tanzania, as a significant number of women still lack knowledge of the 30% procurement budget allocation for special groups. Vivian Mkaazi, a senior researcher at ESRF, highlighted other challenges, including computer literacy, language barriers, and limited funding.
There was a low figure in terms of participation of women in public procurement. It was around 12% when we started doing the baseline of 3,832 women-owned SMEs. But after first phase of intervention, when we did the midline evaluation, the number rose from 12% to 56% for that sample of 374 women-owned SMEs who were in the treatment group. And when we went for the end line, the number rose from 56 during the midline to 85% for those women-owned SMEs who tried to apply for government tender. And the other figure was in terms of getting the tenders, winning the tenders, because application is one way, but getting is just another way. So we also realized during the baseline, 46% of those who applied, the 12%, those who applied, 46% won those tenders. But when we went to the end line, the number rose. It went to 52 somewhere. So we thought that the intervention of training was very much important for SMEs, because they were able now to access but they also won some of the tenders.
To address the challenges, ESRF conducted training sessions for 374 women entrepreneurs, helping them navigate the procurement process. The training included hands-on exercises, allowing women to apply for tenders in real time. Government representatives also participated, engaging with the entrepreneurs to understand their challenges firsthand.
They can now be confident enough to apply, but also to stay in a position that you can defend your proposal. When they are calling you to do the negotiation, you can defend and you can implement confidently. Yeah, as I said, the very first notable change was the language, accommodating also Swahili language as a local language. People are confident, people are, they can use it confidently because it's a mother language. The other that maybe I didn't say is about the number of women that are required to apply for online tenders through the electronic platform. Initially, during the previous system, it was between 15 to 20 women. If you are in a group of 15 to 20 women, then you can be able to apply different tenders depending on your capacity. But now we also had some influence because we managed to meet with the management of the PPRA during that time, and it was accommodated that because it was a concern from the women-owned SMEs that it's difficult to get all those women, 15 women. The bigger the group, the big chance that they can even get someone who is a defaulter. So the number of women-owned SMEs was reduced from 15 to 20 to 5. So even 5 women, they can form a consortia and they can apply, and they can get if they have all those criteria for getting that tender.
The Tanzania Bureau of Combating Corruption took an active interest in reports of bribery and sexual investigation and procurement and pledged to work with stakeholders to protect women from such abuses.
In the course of disseminating information, we thought it's important to involve the government from all the stages during the course of implementation. So when we did the baseline, the very first phase of the project, we involved the government. We went to the Ministry of Gender, Community Development, just to inform them that we are doing this project. It's for 3 years, and we really expect your full participation. And they were very positive, and they received a project kind of trying to own it. In the intervention, we also involved, as I said, we involved the PPRA officials and other government officials to train them and to get them involved on the different challenges that women face and how they can help them to mitigate the problem.